What's up, everyone? I just finished watching Legends of Korra Season 1 for the first time, and I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I figured I would review it. One quick note, this is a spoiler warning for Season 1 of Legends of Korra, as well as all 3 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so obviously don't watch if you haven't seen them yet. And also, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a big help. Anyway, let's get into the video. This show is obviously the sequel series to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and this time it's following the new Avatar after Aang dies. Her name is Korra. It starts off with her knowing how to bend earth, fire, and water. She's originally a waterbender, as the cycle from the original show would suggest she should be. But she's having a hard time mastering airbending, so she goes to Republic City, which is this new big city that Aang founded in his lifespan after the show. So she goes to Republic City to learn airbending from Aang's son Tenzin, who is the only airbender in the world, or his family's the only airbenders in the world. Obviously Aang was the only airbender, so only his descendants is going to have airbending, and of his 3 kids, apparently only Tenzin has it. So that's why she goes there anyways. So she's all like rebellious and everything, so she leaves Tenzin's house when she's there, and then she gets involved in this like bending sports game that's kind of like dodgeball, but with like zones and stuff. If you see the show, you know what I'm talking about. So she joins a character with 2 new characters, Mako and Bolin, who are going to be like her main friends throughout the first season. And they're trying to win the championship in this sport. And then we meet Amon, who is like the main villain for this season. And he's leading like a rebellion against benders, and he has the power to take bending away. Anyways, in the championship game of the sport that there is, Amon, the main villain, attacks the game, and they kind of like declares his like he's taking over the city or whatever. And that's essentially like the first half of the season. And really the second half of the season is the group, Korra's group. There's her and Bolin and all her friends, and Tenzin's involved, and there's Chief Beifong, who's Toph's daughter, and there's even like Iroh, who's like Zuko's grandson, I think. Really the second half of the season is them trying to just take down Amon, and it ends, and obviously the season ends with them defeating Amon, and Korra has the ability to bring people's bending back, kind of like do the reverse bending. Obviously Amon was blood bending, if you've seen the show, or season 1 of the show, so she has the ability to bring that back, and she learns airbending and all that. I'm not going to go too in depth with it, you know, it's a season of a show, it's kind of a lot to talk about. So overall, I'm kind of mixed on this season. In one aspect, I like what they did with Republic City and kind of evolving the storyline of like this world and continuing to build it further and kind of being realistic with what would happen next. I really like that. It kind of like progressed eras and kind of getting into the industrial era of things. And I like how it's kind of acknowledged, and I think it's clever how they're kind of relating that to bending and how modern technology is going to mix with bending. I think that's a pretty neat concept. I thought Amon as the villain was pretty cool. His motives made sense. I didn't necessarily like the way some things happened later in the season with him, and it was kind of underwhelming what happened at the end, and then he died at the end, which was kind of weird. I think that's the first time anyone's officially died in this whole entire series. That was kind of a weird moment in the show, but kind of like shocking at first that happened. But and overall, Amon's arc with his brother Tarlok, I'm blanking on Amon's real name. Towards the end of the season, I thought that was probably the best part of the entire season. It had like a 5-minute clip or so where it cut away to him as a waterbender and him learning bending. I thought that was pretty cool, and that's my personal favorite scene of the entire series. And overall, stuff like that is why I love Avatar so much. It kind of mixes these like kind of like kid action elements, but with these emotions that you're really gonna get as you get, that you're really gonna understand better as you get older. And this show had definitely had some of it, not as much as you normally would get in Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it was certainly present. And overall, many of the characters were cool. Like I thought, like Tenzin being the last Airbender with his family, I thought that was cool. Korra and some of her friends were cool. I was glad they didn't bring back a ton of characters. Obviously, this takes place quite a few years after the original show, but I think Katara was the only original character that was in the show, I believe. They did rely on a lot of relationships to old characters, which I'll get to when I get more towards the negative stuff. So After looking at the good, with that said, I do have some issues with the show, and some of my issues are pretty big. For a few moments in the show where I did get really frustrated. First, and probably the biggest issue with the show is it is so rushed. The season is only 12 episodes long, which is fairly short for a show where the episodes are only 20 minutes long or 25 minutes, plus like the theme song and credits at the end. And it really could have used another 10 to 12 episodes to really develop the plot and the characters. The show starts with Korra already developed as the Avatar, so we don't get to see her learn fire and earth. So she only doesn't know air. So I feel it struggled from that because you don't really get her development of things. And pretty much with every new character in the show, which is basically everyone, the show really takes no time to develop these characters. It kind of just introduces them. So at no point do you actually start caring about these new characters. Along with the show being rushed, the plot is very rushed, and so much happens within each 20-minute episode. Like I said, you never get a chance to start caring about this story and these characters. So many episodes, especially towards the second half of the season, like an entire big plot would develop, start and finish in the same exact episode. And the entirety of like the final fight happened in the last episode. For 20 minutes, that's not a lot. Also, I thought the show relied a little bit too much on descendants of the characters from Avatar The Last Airbender. For example, when it introduced Bei Fong, which is Toph's daughter, it didn't really develop her as a character. It just kind of said, oh, hey, this is Toph's daughter. You should care about her because you cared about Toph in the original show. So at no point did you start caring about her. So that's never a good thing that when that happens. And I thought they kind of like overused a lot of unique things from Avatar The Last Airbender, like blood bending, metal bending, and being able to bend lightning. These unique traits that are very unique to certain characters. All of a sudden everybody could do them. Like all the earthbenders were doing metal bending now when Toph like invented it, and then all of a sudden everyone can do it. And I've always thought lightning, being able to bend lightning was kind of reserved for the best, and then the Korra's friend that can firebend, all of a sudden he's doing it. And the whole bloodbending thing kind of didn't make sense, and it seemed this really exclusive power for the strongest waterbenders. Obviously, all of a sudden, Tarlok and Amon can do it whenever they want. And another, on that same note, back to Bei Fong, who's Toph's daughter, she could sense everything around her, like Toph could, but Toph could do it because she's blind. Bei Fong's not blind, so it makes absolutely no sense that she should be able to do that. So that was really frustrating because it's just like you have to think those things through when you're making a show. I don't know if they did. Maybe they just put it in anyway, but like, you know, Toph's unique abilities are because she's blind, and those would not get passed down to her just because she's her mother. So I thought that was pretty stupid and kind of lazy. So overall, I thought season 1 was pretty decent. It's not going to blow you away, and it's nowhere near as good in terms of quality to Avatar The Last Airbender. But at the same time, it had some good moments. It doesn't like completely crap on the original franchise, and it didn't really ruin anything. It just kind of watered down some things and overused certain elements from the original show. But it did introduce enough original elements for it to kind of feel separated. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 or a 70 out of 100, whatever you want to go for that, and a C+ for overall value. And that will do it for my review for Season 1 of Legends of Korra. I'm certainly looking forward to watching and reviewing the rest of the series as I progress through it, and I'm hoping it gets better. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's a big help. And thanks for watching, and have a good day.